Shalom. Before I begin, on all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Kakadash, and the bodies to the apostles, and elders, great millstone. And shalom to the I can teach you his word. The four corners of truth and sincerity. I'm back with another lesson. Those prayer by Yahweh Bashem, Shalom, is edifying unto the elect. Okay, and this topic of this lesson is going to be, going into the Motb. Like it. Really going into the Motb. You got Nate, Nate of the IUIC, still saying that the Motb, and really the whole group, is saying that the Motb, is sin. That is not the CHIP, it's not the chip, it's, sin. And that doctrine, or that teaching, doesn't make sense. He's a false prophet. It's not a prophet of Yahweh Bashem Ashai. This is Romans 13 and 11. No. It's like it. Romans 16 and 17. It says, "Now I beseech you, brethren," it says, "mark them which cause divisions and offensive contrary to the doctrine which ye have heard, which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Mashiach, but their own belly." Right? Because we know how these camps. Me, IUIC. They're doing it to serve their own belly. Because they have made a contract with Esau, Edom, to, scatter the sheep and to not preach the truth, right? Because that's not a true man of the Lord. They're getting paid under the table to preach these false doctrines so they can continue, in their worldly lust and their worldly doctrines, I'm reading NLT. It says, "Such people are not serving Hamashiach, our Lord. They are serving their own personal interests by smooth talk and glowing words that deceive innocent people." Right? But you have someone that might speak, with higher vocabulary, to try to, deceive. That's part of the deception. Automatically, when somebody sees you using a higher vocabulary, their immediate mindset is, "Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about." But you cannot get deceived by that, right? This is not about speaking big words. It's not about knowing the biggest words. Yeah, we have to know certain words to teach, but it's not about speaking big fancy words. All right, this is about the glorification of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's why you have to mark those that cause divisions and offensive contrary to the doctrine. Because the Motb, when you truly know the true breakdown of it, it's not talking about sin, right? Go to Revelation 13 and 16. And GMS, we constantly pushing, the Motb is the chip. Esau will come out with a chip. The Lord's going to allow Esau to come out with a chip to try to, force it or try to make you take it, right? But this is Revelation 13 and 16. It says, "And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, so that he," he's talking about who? Slovakia. Esau, Edom. So Esau, Edom's going to cause, everyone, if you with a higher class, lower class, if you in everybody, if you in jail, it's going to be required for you to receive, Slovakia, to receive the mark. And when you go, I'm going to finish reading it, I'm going to go into the word. It says, "And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." So without this chip, or CHIP, or without the Motb, you won't be able to buy or sell. So you basically won't be able to live your life without it. And you can see that these devils are planning, okay, for the collapse, okay, of the dollar. That's why they introduced, crypto, digital, currencies. Why is that? Because they're purposely, crashing the dollar. The dollar is becoming, worthless, day by day. Okay, by these devils, they're doing it purposely, right? So they can ultimately try to achieve their NWO. Okay, when you go into that word mark, in the blue letter, it's charagma. It says a stamp and imprinted mark. It says of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses. You see, thin carved sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. So you take that CHIP, you're basically branding yourself, right? It's a brand of ownership, right? It's a brand of ownership. And we go into the root word of charagma is karax. It says sharpened to a point, akin to, through the idea of scratching, a palisade or a palisade or rampart, pale between which earth stones, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. So this is going to be the device, right? Like you have a needle or a syringe. They're going to use that instrument. It's going to be the instrument used, okay, to place the CHIP within, your body. And it's just more about putting it in your right hand on your forehead. If you agree to taking the Motb, okay, you will receive judgment of nuclear fire. Cause Jake, they be simple. They be trying to think, oh, if I just take it in my thigh, or if I take it in my foot, if I take it in my left hand, I'm good. If I put it in my muscle, I'm good. No. The point is that if you take the Motb, you will die. Okay? And the root word for karax is graphle. And I'm just going to skip to B. It says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten. Write down a record. It says use of those things which stand written in sacred books. It says to write by writing in a written epistle to give information, direction. So how can it be sin? Okay. Esau just go write down everybody's sins and keep it on the record? No. Right? You don't know that. So this is going to have to be a device that's going to give information. It's going to keep a record on you. Because even the word RFID, CHIP, okay, radio frequency identification. It's identification device. So it's what? Giving information, your identity. Who are you? What are you doing? What type of person is this? So all that's going to be kept on a database if, you take that Motb. Okay, so it can't be sin, right? And the judgment for taking it is Revelation 14 and 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, right? So if you take the Motb, right? If you down for this system, okay, you love Esau, Edom system, this crooked way of life, and you take the Motb, it says the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So again, you take that Motb, you take the CHIP, you're gonna receive okay, the full force, okay, of the nukes. Ain't gonna be no mercy for you because you chose your side. The scriptures tell you in Proverbs, Salakia, I'm under the weather. In Proverbs 11 and 21, it says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So Esau, Edom, is going to be destroyed. So if you down for this system, okay, you're going to get destroyed along with him, right? Because it's like Again, you're branding yourself, saying that you belong to Esau. So when the Lord comes back and you have that branding upon you, then you won't get delivered. Don't expect to be delivered. You chose your side. The Lord is straightforward. Yea or nay, me or not. That's it. So if hand interlock with the devil, Esau Edom, and who's Esau Edom? A so-called white man. Okay, the elites, the ones that are in control, okay, of the society. That's talking about the elites. But Esau Edom, the so-called white people. All right, it's not hard to miss them. They can't dance. But, you take that CHIP, you're basically saying I belong to Esau. And it's something in the law that talks about, the in Exodus 20. Yeah, Exodus 21. I'm gonna skip down to 6. Because it's the law about having a Hebrew servant. It says, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. So it's likened unto this, okay? But it's digitally, it's electronically. So you take this device, you're telling the Lord, okay, you're telling Esau that I want to serve you forever. I never want to leave Babylon, right? And the Lord is trying to deliver us from America, and you got Jake that want to stay here. So, we ain't gonna force Jake. You want to take the Motb, take it. Shit. At the end of the day, it's the Lord that's gonna cause the elect not to take it. Okay, the Lord's gonna keep us. It's Revelation 3 and 10. It says, because I was kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is a trial from the Lord. Okay, who are you going to choose? Okay, but because we've done the works and we kept the faith until the end, the Lord's going to keep us in that time. It's going to be impossible. It's literally impossible for the elect to take the chip. Okay, that's not prophecy. It's lucky my phone just shut off. But it's going to be impossible for the elect to take it. Okay? Because these specific men, okay, are not depending on Esau Edom, okay, to take care of them or to defend them. Right? We depend on Yahweh Shema Shai. So when that time comes, Lord willing, the Lord make me not take it. Okay, because truly, you don't know. Okay, if the Lord wants you to take it, you will take it. But the Lord's going to put the spirit on us not to take it. That's our expectation, our hope, okay? Because we don't want to die here in America. Okay, we want to be part of that first resurrection. Okay, this is the final test. Brothers, speaking us in the know, this is going to be the final test. Okay, and when we become victorious, because you got to speak boldly. In the name of Yahweh Shema Shai, humbly but boldly. So when that time comes, the Lord's going to deliver us, man. That's our expectation. The Lord don't want no nigga to be like, I don't know. I don't know if the Lord going to deliver me. If everything that's needed of you is being done and you're not being proud, okay, you taking the hell that's being thrown at you. Okay, you remaining faithful. Okay, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget our works. Like you say in Hebrews. Salaki again for my voice. That's what definitely showing it wrong. Hebrews 6 and 10, it says, for the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints, and do minister. So as long as we continue to do the work, okay, show our labor of love towards the Lord, the Lord's not going to forget that. And when we really need the Lord to defend us, he will. You got to speak life. You got to speak life. Like My brother Sauce be saying, my brother Ward be saying, you gotta speak life. Okay, you gotta speak life. All right. But one more precept, and I'm gonna close. It's Isaiah. Lucky. Isaiah 10:20. So this shall come to pass in that day, that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. This is a very beautiful, precept. Because even though we're in captivity, we trouble on all sides. Okay, we still have this faith. We're still able to depend on the Lord. And that's exactly what a member of the elect is going to do. So when that time comes, when we're exiled of society, because as we read in Revelation 13, it says if you don't have the MOTB, you won't be able to buy or sell. So during that period of time of us not taking the MOTB, we won't be able to live how we living now. Easily go to the supermarket, pay, the cash or card or whatever. In that time to come, the only currency that's going to be taken is from the MOTB. So at that time, we're not going to take it. And because we're not going to take it, Esau's going to, demonize us. Okay, make us look like we're the bad guy. But actually, he's the bad guy. He's always been the bad guy. He's just been hiding it. Lucky, my phone shut off again, but, what I was saying, Salaki. I forgot, Salaki. But in that time to come, we're going to be completely on faith. I remember now. It's quite a y'all, but sorry. That's all the scriptures say, that we're going to be pilgrims on the earth. But even though we're going to be pilgrims, be as though, when you read it down, it says, be as though, if you had a possession in this world, I'm going to read it. Salaki. I ain't going to butcher it. It's like Exodus 16. Here's that 40. 40 says, all my people, hear my word, make you ready to battle, tonight battle. Salakia. And it's those and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise is he that had no profit by it. And he that had builded as he that shall not dwell therein, and he that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that plants the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. So the whole point, from 41 to 44, even if you have a woman, you have a business, you have a job, any attachment that you have in this world, treat it as though you can lose it instantly. Don't have no attachment to it. Or I should say, whatever possessions you have in this world, don't have no attachment to it. Because as I said, we're going to be as pilgrims on the earth. Okay, so get that word pilgrim. It says, traveling to a holy place. Hey, shit. That holy place will be the kingdom. It says religious obligation or seeking some miracle or spiritual benefit. A traveler, generally a wayfarer, right? A foreigner, a stranger. That's very spiritual. Because we are pilgrims, dude. The Yahbashim El Shai. We are seeking a miracle and a spiritual benefit. And it's going to come. Right, but I went to Google. It says, a person who journeys to a sacred place for religious reasons is a visitor to a shrine. Okay. So that's what we got to be. It says, visit to a shrine. Okay, because this is not our permanent stay. Okay, we're looking for better. We're traveling, through spirit. Traveling, our day-to-day lives. Constantly getting closer and closer to the kingdom. Okay. It says a foreigner, stranger, foreign resident, right? We're foreign residents here in America. But we're going to have our true residency in the kingdom. Okay. But we aided that with that. Lord, with his vessels, edify them, give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, El-Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. The honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim teaching. To the four corners of true sincerity. Shalom.